In this video, I would like to take a look at a few of the modern interpretations of the phrase in Jonah chapter 3 verse 3 that I term creatively literal. These interpretations try to read the phrase Nineveh, a city of a 3-day walk, as a literal expression of size. However, to do so, they have to take some creative license. Martin Luther was one of the most important interpreters within this creatively literal interpretation of Jonah 3:3. He proposed that the expression a 3-day walk referred to the amount of time it would take Jonah to go around to every street corner preaching his message. However, this interpretation is at odds with what we find in Akkadian prophecies. If a prophet wanted to preach a message to a city, the prophet would appear before the pulchrum, that is, the gathering of the elders at the city gates. There is only one Akkadian text that states that a prophet delivered the same message at more than one location. In this text, the prophet delivered his message at two places, the palace gates and the residence of a foreign king that was granted asylum. As we can see from Akkadian prophecies, it does not appear that prophets went around to every street corner preaching their message. Therefore, this interpretation for Jonah 3:3 should not be favored. Donald Wiseman, more than almost any other modern interpreter, is responsible for more of the creatively literal interpretations of Jonah 3:3. We'll talk about two of his theories. In one of Donald Wiseman's interpretations, he saw this 3 days in terms of what he thought would be the amount of time it would take to make a proper visit to the city. But this evidence was taken from the fact that oftentimes when foreign countries were concluding peace treaties, they would travel to a city on one day and then rest, get down to business the second day, and then on the third day they would then depart back to their home country. But this situation has little to do with just a single prophet giving his message. Another of Donald Wiseman's interpretations of Jonah 3:3 says that instead of thinking of the term Nineveh in Jonah 3:3 as referring to the city, in fact, this term referred to a region that was probably around 60 miles in breadth, and therefore would take about 3 days to walk all the way across it. It is at this point that we can really appreciate the incredible depth of knowledge that Wiseman has both in biblical studies and in Assyriology, because this theory is actually a bit more complicated than it might appear at first. For support of his interpretation that sees Nineveh here as a region instead of a city, Wiseman points to the fact that in Akkadian they wrote signs before or after words that described what these words were. So in Akkadian, the term Nineveh could be written Ninua Ki or Uru Ninua. And the difference between these two readings would be that Ninua Ki would refer to the region, while Uru Ninua would refer to the city. Since the Hebrew language did not use determinatives, Wiseman then states that the Hebrew spelling of Ninua would conceal either the Ki or the Uru that would tell the difference between the city or the region. In light of this ambiguity, Wiseman then says that Nineveh that we have in Jonah 3:3 must have referred to Ninua Ki, or the administrative district that Wiseman says would take 3 days to walk across. However, in Sennacherib's annals, and Sennacherib was a king of Assyria in the 7th century, it describes Ninuaki, or this region of Nineveh that Wiseman was to read, as an area surrounded by a wall 7.5 miles in length. So there really is no ancient evidence that an administrative district called Nineveh ever existed.